Hi, welcome back to Centrify, just in time, just enough, and any other privileged access request patterns and use cases. We're still in part 4, leveraging shared accounts. In this case, we're talking about a directory, an Active Directory shared account that has a mixed role. And in the previous video, we had performed the access request and we approved it. So in summary, what we're doing here is we're leveraging a shared account that for the purposes of a demo has been assigned a mixed role. So a role that allows it to log in, be authorized to log into both a Linux system and a Windows system. And it has a mixed function set. What that means that it can log in through any PAM application, run any command as root, invoke an admin desktop on Windows, and it has the network right for any other network-related functionality. As a disclaimer, in a real production environment, you will never do this because you're obviously violating the principles of separation of duties. But in really small organizations where there's only one person, and in demo environments like this makes sense. So in this video, we're going to see it in action. We actually requested with Lisa. That's why we weren't able to, when we did here, select request account before we had to request it. So it was approved, and only one approval in this case because I have a mixed account. But in the real world, you want to be able to separate those. So I'm going to be able to log in, and let's pretend that I need to do something with disks, right? So I'm using Centrify Pass to act as the jump box to go into that system. So in this case, notice that we have disk management here, right? So what is it that we're looking for when we're securing an account? We're looking for it so we can enforce access control, so the account can only log into systems that they're supposed to log into. We're achieving that in this machine with Centrify zones. But the next thing is, how can we limit lateral movement? In the age where some Windows attacks are super easy, what you want to make sure is that the account in question, not only you have a layer of access control like Centrify zones, but that the account itself is not a permanent member of the local administrators. And the way you can verify this is, you could look at, user manager, and inspect here and see, the users and group memberships, right? Administrators. So my account is not a member of domain admins, right? But the easiest way is just to use privileges. This management will not open if I don't have administrative rights. But for this, basically, Centrify has the ability to, I can right-click here and, select Run with Privilege. In this case, we're using token manipulation. I need to satisfy the ticket invalidation that I have in this demo. But after that, notice that the application will be running with the proper rights, but the user does not have permanent administrative rights. The same thing you could do. Let's just say you wanted to switch to an administrative desktop where, from a Centrify perspective, you can elevate any program without having to just run with privilege with every application. You can just do a new desktop, right? And be able to have a new administrative desktop that anything you run here will be running as administrator. So that's in Windows, right? Let's pretend for a second that I have performed my duties here. And next is Unix Linux, right? And in this case, I can point to a system that is joined to that zone, right? And I could do, select request account, and notice that I have it authorized to me because I've over provisioned rights, which is something that shouldn't be done. And in here, I'm going to go ahead and select, and it's going to allow me to log in with that domain account. And I'll be able to use my direct authorized rights. So for example, if I do a dzdo -l, it says that I can run any command as root as it is defined here. If I wanted to see the Centrify access that I have, I could just run the dzinfo command, and it'll show me the role that I have. And notice that I have this JIT 203. And here, for example, if I need to run the AD flush command, it can only be run by root, and I could just do do AD flush, and I'll be able to do it. Notice that in this case, I wasn't challenged additionally. This is for simplicity in the demo, but you have the ability to leverage Centrify and tie, for example, multi-factor authentication to for example, the admin desktop or the Linux command as well. So in this case, because it's a shared account and the AD user wasn't exposed to it, I am relaxing those controls in lieu of the additional controls that I have to reach perhaps the portal, or maybe I can even establish a simple security control. To use that account, you must use multi-factor authentication. So that would be super easy. All I needed to do would be to go to the account in question or the system in question, for example. If I want to do it at the session level, which for this demo is going to be much easier for me, all I need to do is add a policy, and I could just say, well, you must satisfy this server and privilege elevation mechanism to log in. So if I go back now as Lisa and I want to go to that system, what's going to happen is that I'm going to be challenged for multi-factor. So you can use the combination of server suite to enforce the rights and access control, and in the case of Unix, provisioning of Unix identity. And you can use pass to be the enforcer of any additional policy like multi-factor, etc. So I'm hoping that this demo provides a new design pattern that you can use. And in the next video, we're going to see what are the evidences that I have, right, of the usage, the rights, the attestation resources, the logs. And let's see you in part 3.